I want to start with a choice. It's a choice that I guarantee every single person listening has made, probably in just the last few months.
Okay.
So imagine you need a solution. Maybe you're hiring a digital agency or getting a critical vendor for your business. You narrow it down to two options, both totally competent.
Mm-hmm.
Option A is a little bit cheaper, let's say 5% savings, but dealing with them is just, it's draining. They're cold, their emails are stiff, all corporate jargon.
Right. You feel like a number.
Exactly. You
Like
feel totally transactional. You're just a line item on their Q4 forecast.
been there.
Then you have option B. They're 5% more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole experience is different. They remember something about your family. They notice a book on your shelf they love.
Ah, they connect.
Yes. They make a little joke, and it actually lands.
Yeah.
The whole thing feels less like a negotiation and more collaborative. You actually enjoy talking to them. So if the service is identical, who gets the business?
And that right there, that's the whole deep dive. The answer is almost always option B.
Always.
People will willingly pay that premium, that 5, 10, I mean, sometimes 50% more, just to interact with someone they connect with.
Someone they like.
Someone they like, someone they trust. We're talking about the liking bias and what we're calling the likability tax.
Which is why our mission today is so important. We're going to take a sledgehammer to this really counterproductive idea in the business world, the myth of the boring professional.
The idea that business isn't personal.
Exactly. We're going to dismantle that and show you the actual psychological triggers that build that rapport and, yeah, drive real success.
It's so pervasive, isn't it, that old saying, it's not personal, it's just business.
Ugh, yes. It sounds so shrewd and objective on the surface.
But in reality, it's often just a shield. People hear that and they completely misinterpret what it means to be professional.
How so?
Well, they hear professional and they think boring or unreadable. They think that to be taken seriously, they have to just strip away every ounce of their personality.
Right. All the humanity, all the humor, it gets replaced with corporate speak.
Yeah.
They put on this, like, impersonal mask.
It's a mask. And the sources suggest it comes from a place of, well, it's about vulnerability. It's about risk.
Ah, okay. So it's a defense mechanism.
It is, absolutely. It's rooted in what you might call a cover your assets culture. If you show your personality, if you make a joke, you're introducing a variable. You're introducing risk.
And corporate life teaches you to avoid risk at all costs.
Precisely. So the safest thing you can be is generic, boring. Mm-hmm. You sanitize everything so nobody can possibly critique you.
But in trying to be safe, they just become forgettable, interchangeable.
That's the word, fungible. The science on this is just overwhelming. People don't buy from businesses, they buy from people.
And when you erase your personality, you've erased the one thing that truly makes you different.
You've made yourself a commodity. And when you're a commodity, the only thing you can possibly compete on is price.
And that 5% discount suddenly becomes your only selling point.
Which is the real cost of this myth. The perfect antidote to this, though, is a guy who operated in probably the most commoditized business you can think of. We have to talk about Joe Girard.
Okay, let's get into this guy's story because the numbers are just staggering. Joe Girard is in the Guinness Book of World Records, the greatest salesman of all time.
And what was he selling?
Cars. Chevrolets. In Detroit. You literally cannot get more commoditized than that.
Right. You could buy the exact same car from dozens of other dealers just down the street.
Which makes his record just, it's unbelievable. Most salesmen, if they're good, sell maybe 6 cars a month.
Joe Girard sold an average of 6 cars every single day.
6 a day. Get this, people had to book appointments weeks, sometimes months in advance just for the privilege of buying a car from him.
The product was totally irrelevant at that point. He had created so much trust. And of course, everyone wanted to know his secret, right? His complex sales technique.
Yeah, his closing strategy or whatever.
Yeah. And his answer was so simple. It almost sounds, I don't know, a bit naive. He didn't talk about financing or engine specs.
So what was it? What was the big secret?
He just said, I find something I genuinely like about them and I make sure they know I like them.
I can just hear people listening now thinking, okay, that's nice, but that can't be it. That's not a whole career. But it was how he executed on that idea.
Yes. The consistent action. Every single month, Joe sent out a physical greeting card to every single person on his list.
And his list wasn't small. It was over 13,000 people.
13,000 cards a month. And think about the content of that card. It wasn't a coupon. It wasn't a sales pitch for a new model.
It was just 3 words.
3 words. I like you. And then His signature. That's it. He just consistently, for years, communicated genuine, non-transactional warmth.
So how do those three little words translate into people paying more, this likability tax? We have to get into the psychology here. Why is that so powerful?
It all comes down to a really deep, an automatic cognitive trigger. It's called the principle of reciprocal affection.
Okay.
The mechanism is this. When we genuinely feel that someone else likes us, our brain just, it relaxes, our defenses go down, and we feel this almost automatic compulsion to like them back.
So it's a loop. He was starting the loop. He put the liking out there first with no strings attached.
Exactly. Liking is the catalyst. That feeling of being liked creates a sense of safety. Safety is the absolute prerequisite for trust.
And once you have trust,
The sale is just a formality. It's the logical next step in a relationship you've already built. They trusted Joe not because he was a car expert, but because they believed he actually valued them as a person.
okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Liking leads to trust, which leads to business. But, for everyone listening, you can't just mail 13,000 cards.
Right.
You can't walk into a boardroom and announce, I like you all.
No, you can't. And that's where the sources get really tactical. They outline 3 specific professional triggers you can use to create that same feeling, but subtly, without being fake.
Okay, let's break them down. What's the first trigger?
The first one is similarity.
Similarity.
And this is an evolutionary one. I mean, for our ancestors, if you met a stranger, the first question your brain asked was, are they like me? Are they from my tribe?
Because similar meant safe.
And different meant, well, potentially dangerous. We're still hardwired to feel more comfortable and extend trust to people who seem like us.
So the practical takeaway is, in any interaction, an email, a sales call, your job is to become a detective for similarity.
A skilled detective, yes. And it's more than just noticing they have a dog in the background of their Zoom call, though that helps.
So what's a deeper level?
You listen for shared ways of thinking. Did they mention an obscure industry trend you've also been following? Do they approach problems with the same analytical rigor that you do?
So if a potential client wrote something, I shouldn't just say nice article. I should say, I read your white paper and I was fascinated by your use of the X framework. That's exactly how I approach that kind of challenge too.
That is the high-level version. Yes. You just signaled, we think alike, I respect your intellect, you've built a bridge, and their defenses just, they start to come down.
But what about the risk of that feeling forced? If I'm actively looking for something, couldn't it come off as manipulative?
That is the critical question, and the line is genuineness.
Okay.
If you find a similarity you truly appreciate, it's authentic. If you lie and say you love their favorite team when you can't stand sports, they will see right through it.
And all trust is gone.
Instantly. The goal is to amplify an existing truth, not to invent a fake one.
I like that distinction. Amplify the truth.
Okay.
Okay, that brings us to trigger number 2. Compliments, or as the sources call it, genuine appreciation.
The thing is, we live in a world that is just starved for genuine appreciation. We're all stressed. We're all criticized. The material calls a real compliment water in the desert.
And again, the key word here is genuine.
It has to be. If you compliment their ugly shirt, it backfires. Horribly.
So what's an effective compliment in a professional setting?
The best ones target things people have worked for. Their intelligence, their effort, their achievements, things they're proud of.
Give me an example.
So instead of, that's a good idea, you could say, that was a really smart question. It actually makes me rethink our whole approach here, and I appreciate that.
Ah, I see.
Or if you've seen their work, don't just say, nice website. Say, I looked at your Q3 report, and the clarity of your messaging is incredible. That kind of conciseness takes real discipline.
You're not complimenting the thing, you're complimenting the skill or thought process behind the thing.
Exactly. You're feeding their ego in a way that makes them feel seen and respected. Their defenses lower, and they let you in.
Which leads right into the final trigger.
Yes. Trigger number 3, and this one might be the most powerful. It's cooperating towards a mutual goal.
Creating an us versus the world dynamic.
Yes. Think about it. If you're sitting across the table from someone, physically or metaphorically, you are in a confrontational position.
You're on opposite sides.
The goal is to shift that. You need to get on the same side of the table looking at the problem together. You go from being a vendor to being a teammate.
And that requires a big shift in language.
A huge shift. You stop saying, I'm going to sell you this. You start saying, okay, we have a challenge here. How can we solve this together?
You become partners against the problem.
Use collective words. Our goal is X. How should we handle this? This creates a powerful bond because we instinctively like and trust our teammates.
Right, you're not just a resource anymore. You're a partner who has their back. You've completely escaped the commodity competition.
And that feeling of partnership, that security, is something your cold, transactional competitor can never offer. You've successfully created a likability tax, and the client is happy to pay it because the value of the relationship is so much higher.
So let's make this actionable. For everyone listening right now, what's the challenge? It's simple, right? Stop being so professional, if professional means being boring.
The first step is a really practical audit. Look at your website, your LinkedIn profile. Is there a picture of your actual face? Is there a bio that shares one human thing about you? A hobby, a weird interest, a story about a failure?
Or is it just a generic logo and a list of accomplishments?
Then look at your emails. Read the last 5 you sent. Do they sound like they were written by a lawyer? Or do they sound like they came from a helpful colleague?
So the goal is to start adding that human element back in.
Deliberately. This week, tell a quick story about your kids. Admit a small mistake. Talk about a movie you saw. These little non-transactional bits don't make you unprofessional. They make you a person. And people can't like a commodity.
Be a person. If you're just a commodity, you're in a race to the bottom on price. But if you're a friend, a trusted teammate, you don't have any competition.
That's it. It's about that consistent, non-transactional investment. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to take away.
Okay.
If finding something you genuinely like about someone and communicating that can be the foundation of a multi-million-dollar career like Joe Girard's, what subtle, non-transactional effort are you holding back right now that could be the secret ingredient to building that lasting trust?
That is a powerful question. Really think about the signals you're sending, or maybe the ones you're not sending. Next week, we're going to dive into how you get people to say yes to big things by getting them to say yes to tiny things first. It's all about the science of commitment and consistency. You are not going to want to miss that one.